Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my Sephora sale wish list, and while I am crazily aware that I have a beauty bank that has a lot of rules tied to it, especially in terms of blushes, you will see there's a lot on this wish list that could give me some problems. So, am I about to ruin my beauty bank? Can I have some self control or no? We will see. We will see. So, if going through my Sephora loves is something that you feel like you should be doing today, please stick around. I would enjoy having you along for this ride. And yeah, I hope that you'll want to subscribe before you go. With that said, hello. For those of you new here, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty. I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education on my platform, but ultimately I'm just out here talking about makeup because I like talking about makeup. And I'm assuming if you're here, you also, if nothing else, like to listen to people talk about makeup. But hopefully you also like to talk about makeup and we can have a conversation down in the comments section. So don't forget to hit me up down there because I still am responding to every single comment that comes through and I love talking with you guys down there. So with that said, all intro aside, let's move into this Sephora wish list for the Sephora sale that we're about to embark on. All right, guys, so I just plunked everything into my loves list, and I'm hoping that you're along for the ride. I'm sure we all have a loves list going on in our Sephora carts, right? Or maybe it's just me. I do think, oh, bless my man out there sneezing his life away. I do have some things in here that have been in here for quite some time, and some things that are just regular old, like, Sephora sale over Sephora sale items for me. So those things I probably won't talk about. Like, I'm looking at Cinema Secrets right now. That's nothing I'm going to talk about with you guys because that's something that I purchase all the time. But I just purchased one. As a matter of fact, same getup that you're seeing me in right now. I just did my makeup rehab series where I brought one of those in. So I won't be purchasing one this go around. Let's just walk through my loves list because everything that I have on my list is in this Sephora page. So just some housekeeping for you. I don't purchase anything from Sephora that I can purchase from Ulta Beauty. I work at Ulta Beauty, so I get a really great discount at Ulta Beauty. It's more than the 20% off that I'm going to get during this Sephora sale. So I'm absolutely never going to purchase anything at Sephora that I can't already purchase at Ulta Beauty and earn the points from it because their point process, their guest experience, I feel like, is a lot better. And I felt that way as a consumer straight up and not just as somebody who works for Ulta Beauty. Their reward system is far superior to that of Sephora. With that said, there's fewer products these days that I'm going to Sephora for because Ulta Beauty just keeps on surprising and delighting and bringing in all the things that I love so much, i.e. Natasha Denona being one of the most recent. Y'all know I've spent a pretty penny on Natasha Denona. So she's not in this list anymore because I can purchase it at Ulta Beauty. So everything on here are products that I can't purchase at Ulta Beauty, but I still want in my life. So let's just go through this. So the first two items I have on here, well, first three items I have on here, there are 2 palettes and 1 blush. Palettes count against me as a point, but there's no special rules against them in my beauty bank, but there is for blushes. I'm just talking to you screenshot by screenshot. First 2 palettes that I have on here, one is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana palette, and currently it's on sale for $50, so add the 20% to that. So I could get this palette for, far less than half of what it was when it first launched, and I would be happy about that. Eyeshadows, in my humble opinion, besides the special shades from her, are not really where it's at. Her mattes are not my favorite, I guess is what I should say. And this one does have quite a few more mattes in it than her previous holiday palettes did, but man, the color story on this is just, it's calling my name. I've wanted it since it launched, but I don't use my palettes enough to think that I should be spending $82 on a Pat McGrath palette that I know isn't going to get the use that it should for that. And she's not one of my favorites, right? She's not Natasha Denona. So, I mean, I like the palette. If I am able to get it Cool Beans, it does say only a few left. And that's its way of telling you, you need to pick this up. And probably because this is how Sephora works, this item will not be available when the sale comes up. And available for me. Currently, I'm Rouge. So currently the sale starts for me on the 40th. On the 14th. So this product still won't be, probably will not still be available at that time. The other palette that I have on here is the ABH Norvina Pro Pigment Palette Volume 5. This is the one with all the purples in it. Now, I think that this is just in here because I've got that completionist mindset for it. I have 1 through 3. So in my head, I also need all the rest that are here. There, used to be some of my favorite palettes for the amount of colors that were in them and the one and done kind of eyeshadow palette thought process. But also, they're not necessarily my favorite formulation of shadows. So, I could easily pass over this one and probably will if we're going to be honest. But to get it for 20% off would be good. The Armani Neo Nude Color Melting Cream Blush has drawn my attention since the moment it launched. Now this one is in Warm Plum. It's just got like a different color than I think I have in any of my blushes. I do think it would be unique to my collection, and I have heard really good things about these blushes, but my God, it is tiny. I've not seen it in person, but I've seen it on some videos, and it does come across as pretty small, and it's $40. So it is also, though, one of those things that says only a few are left. I do have to imagine that it will probably no longer be available come time for the sale, because that's how Sephora works. The next 3 items I have on here are another ABH Norvina palette. This one is the Pro Pigment Palette Volume 6. Notice I don't have 4 on here. I wonder why I don't have 4 on here. But 6 is simply because of the outer packaging. The component of this draws my attention in so much. It's celestial and really beautiful, and I have an affinity for celestial things, and I think that is the only reason why this palette draws me in, because it is straight up neon, and I don't wear neons. So again, this is probably a palette that I can pass over really easily. But the other 2 products on this particular screenshot are the Makeup Forever HD Skin Cream Contour and Highlight Sculpting Palette and the Ultra HD Invisible Cover Cream Foundation Palette. Tell me why I think I need these. Like, I think I need these, and I don't know why I think I need. I'm not a working makeup artist. There's no reason for me to have these items. But for me, it's just so cool to have this one thing that you can open up and have all of the everything that you might need in this one little component. And when I watch the video on it, it does look like it's quite small, maybe the size of my hand, maybe a little bit larger. It does look like it's quite small, but in the pictures it looks giant, right? I would probably go for the one on top, the HD Skin Cream Contour and Highlight Sculpting Palette, more than I would go for the one on bottom, which is the Invisible Cover Cream Foundation Palette, because the one on top has highlighters, bronzers, contour type shades in it. So it's got a little bit of everything, and you can mix and match and do whatever with it. And the one on bottom is just solely foundation shades, no like highlights or anything like that. And obviously the 6 shades that are showing on this picture are not 6 shades that I will ever use on my face. So the other one seems a little more logical. Like if I'm going to spend the money, that one seems like it would be the logical offer. This set of 3 has 2 of the Kaja Face Bento Cream Bronzer Powder Blush and Highlight trios. One is in Butter Up and one is in Cloud Latte. I think those are both in there just because I don't know which one I would pick, but I think either one of those would work for my skin tone. Now, that's not saying I'm going to pick up both of them because I'm definitely not, but I do have these on my list. I've heard really great things about these. These again are one of those one and done kind of things. Like I could take it on the road with me and there's my blush, my bronzer, and my highlight all in one little tiny compact stack. Because I travel a lot for work, these things are, I am enamored by them. So probably the Butter Up one would be my choice because that bronzer in that one seems a little more cooler tone than the one in the other one. And I like a more cool tone bronzer. I think that a warm tone bronzer makes my face look a little bit orange. The other product on here is the Pat McGrath Mothership 7 Artistry 7, right? Yes, 8. I think it's 8. Artistry eyeshadow palette, the Divine Rose 2. This is such a beautiful eyeshadow palette that I would purchase it. It's beautiful. It's got the mauves, it's got that dark brown, and the special shades look so, so beautiful in this palette. And that's the appeal to these bigger palettes, right? Is there are 4 special shades in those palettes. I definitely have had this one on my list for quite some time. It's been added and then taken out and then added and then taken out. Most recently added a couple days ago. So there's that. Okay, this next set of 3, again, we have 2 blush palettes. These are both by One Size by Patrick Starr. They're the Cheek Clapper 3D blush palettes. I've heard really good things about these, but also heard really bad things about them. And the 2 that I have picked out, one is in Attention Seeker, which is a bright, bright pink, like almost Persona Bubble bright pink. And the other one is in Rich Betch, which is a really like kind of dark, like burgundy-esque. Both would be pretty unique to my collection. Now I do have the Dior Rose Glow blush that I think comes close to that Cheek Clapper in Attention Seeker, but I do think that there's a little bit more in this, right? There's 3 different things in here. So one's a cream shade, one is a shimmery shade, and one's a matte blush. I just think that they're so beautiful, and I think that there's a lot that you could do with them. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on these. I think that also they are super unique to my collection right now. The only one that is not available of the 2 that I want is the Attention Seeker one, which is the one that I think that I would pick before the Rich Betch, which is the darker one. I really like dark blushes on me, but I feel like that one might be too dark. I would want it to be lean a little bit more like a natural flush, and I don't know, I'd have to see it in person. That's the thing with these blushes, is I'd have to see them in person to be able to make a choice that makes sense for me. Next set of 3 is the Dominique Cosmetics Essential Eyeshadow Palette. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. I've had some really good experiences with Dominique Cosmetics in the past, but also some really bad experiences. I think that Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam was probably the worst eyeshadow palette I've ever tried in my life. I hated that eyeshadow palette so much. But this is a different kind of setup for these eyeshadow palettes. So, and I heard that she was changing and kind of fixing her formulation. So I would be interested to try this. It's just very, very essential, which isn't 100% me, but everybody needs an essential palette. Everybody needs a regular, just basics. The next thing is the Tower 28 Sculptino Soft Matte Cream Contour and Bronzer. This is a $20 product. I do have the shade Getty on here, which is light medium with neutral undertones. This is just on here because I have such an affinity for cream products lately, but I also really like Tower 28 products, and I love the blushes by Tower 28 that come in the same component. But Tower 28 goes bad super fast. So with all the other cream blushes in my collection, I'm not sure that now is the right time to pick up this guy. And I really haven't heard a whole lot about it. Then I also have the Glossier Stretch Concealer for Dewy Buildable Coverage. I have the shade Light Medium. I think I have later on down the road another shade of that also. Yes, in the lightest shade. This is in here solely because Lauren May Beauty, who I respect and think is an amazing makeup artist, talks about this concealer being the best concealer she's ever had. And I'm always on the hunt for a great concealer, one that I can fall in love with, because I don't love concealer. Like, I have one concealer that I truly love these days, and that is the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer. But this reminds me, just in the way it's presented, of the Becca one, the under eye corrector that I love so much. So I would be interested to try this. And here's the truth to you. I've been wanting to try Glossier products for a long time, but haven't, because it's not like mainstream, wasn't in a store that I could go pick it up in. And now that it's available at Sephora, it makes me want to try it. There's a couple other Glossier items on here. Glossier is more of a natural makeup kind of makeup company, but there are some things that call my name from that company that I would still like to try out. I have two Ole Hendrickson eye sticks. These are corrector eye stick type things. I have the peach and apricot of these two. I don't know that I'll pick up those, but I was really interested in them when I found them. But then I also have the House Labs by Lady Gaga Color Fuse Talc Free Powder Blush in the shade of Watermelon Bliss. Again, beautiful color. Look at the color of that blush. Like, I'm just really into the unique, standout, like impactful, like see me kind of shades these days for my blush, and that's definitely something that would be unique to my collection. And it is described as a red. That is just like fire red. I could see is it's just so pretty. And I also just recently purchased a House Labs bronzer. Beautiful packaging. I have the Triclone, right, foundation that is stunning. Like, so far, everything that I've tried from this brand has been amazing. So I can't imagine that that blush is going to be any different. The next set of three I have here is this Tower 28 Mauve Moment lip gloss and blush duo. This is a limited edition product. I would almost pick it up just because it's a limited edition product, and that blush is beautiful. But also it's $27 for both the lip gloss and the blush, which both of them are like 20 bucks a piece. So that would be a really good deal. The next two are Glossier Cloud Paint. Oh my goodness. Cloud Paint blushes. So I have three different shades of this. I have the Rich Mulberry, the Poppy Red, and the Sunny Coral shades all in my loves list because I mean, all of them intrigue me. All of them would be unique to my collection. They're only $20 a piece. These last forever, I'm sure of it, because they're a gel liquid blush. And I've heard really great things about these cloud paints, so I would be interested to hear your guys' thoughts. The Valentino V-Lighter Illuminating Face Primer. Listen, in my empties, which you'll either see or have seen just recently, I emptied 3 primers in the last 30 days. Granted, they are not primers that I have only been using for 30 days. They're primers I've had in my collection for a while, but I emptied 3 primers in the last 30 days. Like, I am all for purchasing another primer. And this V-Lighter one is one that I got in like a point perk from Sephora. I paid 100 points for this little tiny sample guy of the V-Lighter face base, and I loved it. So again, this is a Lauren May Beauty talked me into it kind of item, but it's a $58 primer. So it's one of those primers that's like, if you're going to get it, make sure that you get it on a discount. So now's the time. I have the Melt Cosmetics Blush Monarcha Blush Palette in here. I cannot get this. But man, the fact that it was a $60 item or $58 item and it's down to 40 bucks and then 20% off on top of that kind of makes me want it. I love Melt Cosmetics as a brand. I think that they do things really, really well, and I would love to get my hands on a piece of that collection, and this would be a good piece of that collection. But I also have the Artist Couture Supreme Mauves eyeshadow palette. Now, I have heard their Supreme Nudes is much better than the Supreme Mauves, but the Supreme Mauves really is a product that calls to me more than Supreme Nudes. But I would hate to purchase this Supreme Mauves palette only to find out that it was indeed poop. So if I purchased one, I do believe the Supreme Nudes is in here also. Yeah, I have the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes Quickie palette and the Supreme Nudes palette in here as well. I would probably pick the Supreme Nudes palette if I was going to pick one. So the next set of 3 is the Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighter. I've heard and seen this on other people's channel being used, and this is like 2016 highlight reimagined. Oh my god, so pretty. And I want it for no other reason but for inner corner highlight and brow bone. That is, I mean, because I don't really go like ham on my facial highlight these days, but I do get kind of creative in my inner corner and my brow bone. So I do have the rose bronze one in here, Mesmerize, I think is the shade name. Then I have another Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder Flushed Blush. This one is in the shade Vivid Plum. I just brought one of those into my collection that you guys saw or will see in my Makeup Rehab series. I haven't even tried that one on my skin yet, so I won't be purchasing this one until I have tried that and determined whether I like it or not, obviously, but this is the other color that I want. So if I do like that one and do find a need to purchase another one, this one will be the color that I purchase. I also have the Makeup by Mario Skin Liquid Foundation in here. You know, I know I do not need another foundation to try out. And I know that I am in FLC right now and am probably getting like 5 new foundations or more because I get new foundations every single year when we go. I don't need another foundation, but I've heard such good things about this foundation. Like every single review I've seen on it says that it is fantastic. I would want to go in and get matched to make sure that I got the right shade. Right now I've got 8N or BN in my basket, and that is the light medium with neutral undertones. Is that 8 or is that a B? I don't know. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't really see it. But I do feel like that one would be a good shade for me, but I would want to go get matched also. So the rest of what's on here are things that I have already really like picked up, I think. Man, there's so much on here that is like old stuff. I have the Huda Beauty Empowered Eyeshadow Palette on here, but I also have the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude, right? Yeah, Naughty Nude eyeshadow palette in here. I don't think I would pick up either one of these if I'm honest with you, so I just need to take them out of my loves list. I do have like some items that I already have in my collection I've kept in my loves list, so I know, you know, what to purchase when I go back into repurchase if I'm going to purchase them. I do have the Beauty Blender Pocket Power Puff Dual-Sided Powder Puff for setting and baking because I have been using round makeup eraser puffs and they don't necessarily work 100% like I imagine like the Beauty Blender puff would work because it comes to that nice point. I would love to have that. I have some fragrances in here. I'm not going to pick up a new fragrance right now because I did pick up all those new Kayali ones the last Sephora sale, and I've only used one of them one time. I have the Rose Ink Cream Blush Refillable Cheek and Lip Color on here in Ophelia, which is a beautiful, beautiful blush, and I've heard really great things about the Rose Ink blushes. So I would love to try that, but I also have the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish Color Corrector in Peach for light to medium skin tones in here. I don't think I'll pick up either one of those either. I also have the Fenty Skin Hydra Reset Intensive Recovery Glycerin Hand Mask in here. I might pick up that. I have heard amazing things about that, and my hands these days are so super dry and crusty. I definitely need a hand mask. I do have the Melt Cosmetics Millennial Pink eyeshadow palette in here. I probably won't pick that up. I have plenty of those kind of colors in my collection, and I've heard really not great things about that palette in particular. And I also have 2 of the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums in here. Listen, these were on my list of if I could only keep one in terms of lip glosses, this would be the lip gloss I would keep. I do want more shades of this lip gloss, but I think I'm going to pause and not purchase those right now because I have a lot. And I think, yeah, the rest of this is just repurchases, like my Cinema Secrets, a couple things that I've talked about in the past, the iconic Nude by Charlotte Tilbury lip pencil. Yeah, the rest of it is not stuff that I'm even thinking about right now, but lives on my loves list because I do want them eventually, but they're not things that I'm picking up right now. So again, I am fully aware that I have a beauty bank that requires me to limit the blushes and highlighters that I bring into my collection. And there was probably 80 blushes on that list. So I am fully aware that I am going to have to like really narrow it down. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I would be interested to hear what lands on your Sephora sale wish list and see if I need to also get what you have on your wish list, because I might be missing a lot. I mean, Sephora's a big store. Maybe I didn't go through everything and didn't find all the things that I wanted, but those are the things that are on my list that I can think of right now. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that if you did, you'll give it a big thumbs up and, you know, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time I upload. It's free to you. It really helps me out. But also, I really just genuinely hope that you enjoyed it enough that you want to stick around. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you and yours are safe and healthy and getting along as best you can, that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.